this is gonna be a very short video, and it's gonna be about a question that I was asked by a mentorship group student. I don't remember his name. So his question was, let's say if you have Asian highs, okay, and just above the Asian highs you have previous day's highs. So as you know, price have to clear every high and low to be uh, to move in the opposite direction, right? So let's say if it move the buy side liquidity, it's gonna head towards the sell side liquidity, and after the sell side liquidity, it's gonna head towards the buy side liquidity. So let me show you something. Let's say this was the move of the previous day. Okay, this was the high of the previous day. Okay, and after this high have the Asian session like this. Okay, so now this is what your Asian session is from here to here, this range. Okay, now according to our entry model, right, we would be waiting for the rate of this Asian session and uh, wait for the market structure shift and the fair value gap in for the entries, right? So if you have an entry like that and like you took a loss on this, so this would be a valid loss, and you would know that price is trying to rate this buy side liquidity, rate this previous day highs to be able to move towards the sell side liquidity. So let me show you this on a live chart. So watch this. This was the Asian session high. Okay, this was the previous day's high. Let me mark this. This was the previous day's high. So if we go to like lower time frames, according to our entry model, this was the Asian sessions high that was swept over here, right? It was a wick, but we will consider the wick as a read as well. So in this scenario, what do we have? We have a fair value. We have the fair value gap. We have the market structure shift. We have the rate. Okay, our rules are being followed. So this was your uh, fair value gap, right? So this was the fair value gap, and this was the breaker block. So if you use fair value gaps, you can use that too. If you use fair value gap, if you use breaker blocks, you can use that too. Okay, now this whole candle was a breaker block. Now, but just uh, in front of the this candle, right, there is a wick. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna refine it inside the fair value gap, but you don't need these wicks inside your zone. So that's how you're gonna refine it. Now watch this. We have the breaker block, we have the fair value gap, and we have like no wicks between this area. So this is how your entry is gonna be. Now let's say you have an entry and your stop loss is gonna be above here or somewhere over here. Okay, and after that, where should you target? Where should you target? Okay, for a 5 hour. Now where do you have the 5 hour? Now I have to show something. I draw it somewhere right here. Okay, so after this rate and this highs being unswept, so what would you do is, like if you are in this scenario, okay, let's say if you are in this scenario that you have a previous day high just above the Asian session high. Okay, after the rate of Asian session high, if you get an entry, okay, let's say you get an entry somewhere over here and the highs are still there pending to be taken out, right? So your the trade that you took over here is gonna be 1:5 at max. Okay, you are not gonna target 1:10, 1:20 or the Asian session lows. You are waiting for this high to be taken out. So this is where your 1:10 inches would be. So something is better than nothing. So this is why you should take partials on your trade. So let's say, according to our rules that I told you, that you have to take partials at every 5 hour, right? Let's say you took 60 or 70% off on this, and the rest of the trade hit the break even. Okay, and after this, what do you have? Another market structure shift, and after the market structure shift, you have this fair value gap. My bad. Your entry, your stop loss, your target 5 hour. 5 hour. Now from this here, in like 30 minutes you bagged the tenor or your profit target of the day. So what I'm doing is, let's say you took 70% off here, you took 70% off here, and the rest of the trades hit your break evens, right? So now this was the buy side liquidity that at this time was swept. Now after this raid over here, what would you be waiting for? Because you know that this raid of your previous valid structure, right? Like this, after the raid of your previous valid structure, the price is moving for this previous day's high to take this previous day high, and then so we took out the previous day's high in this scenario, and you had your first entry on your fair value gap, but there was no market structure shift, so I would have probably missed that trade. Because you see, this the stop loss is gonna be too wide, so even if that stop loss, you will only get a 5 hour trade, I guess. So yes, so let's say you missed this trade. Okay, after that we had another sweep of the highs of the London sessions uh, at this time. Okay, and after that, what do you have? This was the trade that I guess that Luca guy took this one. Okay, and he shared that in the Telegram group, but mentorship group too. So this was a BPR. Okay, as we know, we don't need a market structure shift for the BPR trade. Okay, this was your high of the fair value gap candle. Okay, now what's your target? The 5 hour, and after the 5 hour, the 10 hour. Where is 10 hour? This. So 5 hour, 5 hour. Let's say you missed the trade. 10 hour, 15, and off. What happened after that? So uh, there's like the move that happened on NFP. So what we were waiting for was to uh, sweep this high and then move. I was anticipating for the NFP to take out this high and then drop. So that does not happens in this scenario, and price dropped. If we had this raid over here, right? So this could have been a valid trade, but we don't have a raid. We don't took this. We missed this raid. This was the fair value gap, and we also had the market structure shift as well. So this could have been a valid trade, but as you all know, we need a rate either on a buy side liquidity or a sell side liquidity to target the opposite direction. So there was one guy that was confused, still confused where to target. So what you gonna do is your first target, no matter what, is gonna be 5R. After like 5R, you will target for 10R. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of this and take notes for this. 5R is your first target, and now it totally depends on you that if you take 50% of the trade or 70% of the trade. I will prefer you guys to go with the 70%, because as you like totally beginners with this method, right? I know like most of you are using the ICT concept, but if you are totally beginner with this method, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna aim for 5R, and after 5R 10R. And there's another thing, let's say you have been trading this method, this model, for a month now, right? So if you are still confusing yourself, with your daily bias is wait for a swept of either a buy side liquidity, right, or a sell side liquidity. Let's say if you swept the buy side liquidity first, you're gonna target for the sell side liquidity. It is as simple as it could be. I don't know why are you guys confusing this only daily bias, right? So if it clears the sell side liquidity, the buy side liquidity, just play inside the liquidity cycles, right? You don't need the daily bias. It's been